All right, so today your objective is the students will learn the definition of E in order to solve exponential equations that involve the number E. So hopefully you saw the video on E and you see that it is sort of like pi, it's just a random irrational number. So we have a button for it on our calculators. So E is famous, irrational number. Those are the first couple of digits. Used in science a lot, often called Euler's number. It is the base of natural logs and is found in many interesting areas. So the first thing you're going to do is just practice calculating with E. So on your calculator you want to locate the E button. I believe it's under the second division sign, so you will have to hit 2 buttons to get E. So let me bring up my calculator. Close and clear. Yeah, so second division button will get you the E. If you hit enter, you can see some of the first values of E. So in number 1, you're doing 3 times e to the 4th power. I personally like to use parentheses for everything. However, in this case, we can probably just key in 3e caret 4th power. So if we were to parentheses our stuff, we would have 3e to the 4th power. We would still get the same thing. We want to round this to the nearest hundredth, so you look at the third digit. The 4 is not going to do anything to that 9, so our answer stays at 163 and 79 hundredths. Number 2 is just like number 1, as is number 6. So definitely should be able to do 2 and 6 on your own. So I'm going to put a big fat O-yo. Number 3 is one where I would definitely use parentheses. I would also make a note that 7 times 3 is 21. So to simplify things, you could just do 2/5, put it in parentheses, e to the 21st power. Now if you didn't do that, hopefully we would get the same answer. 2/5 e to the 7 times 3 power. And you can see we had a very large number. So you're going to write that number right there for number 3. Number 4, it's 3e to the negative 3rd power. So this is one where I would definitely use parentheses around the negative 3. And in number 5, I would key this in with a parentheses. It's negative e to the 3 times 6 power, which you do know is 6. So that is what I would key in on my calculator. So when you turn in your paper, I will be checking 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to make sure you got the correct answer. Please make sure you round to the two decimal spots, which is to the 100th. So here are some word problems involving E. The number V of computers infected by a computer virus increases according to the model V equals 100 e to the 4.6052 times t, where t is time in hours. So they give you your equation. V is computers, t is time, and you're finding the number of computers infected after 2 hours. So in this case, t would be 2, because it's 2 hours and time is in hours. For 1 hour, t would be 1, and then 30 minutes, t is only a half hour. So what you have to do here is you have to take your equation, and all you're doing is substituting your t now into the equation. And since this is dealing with computers, you can't have half of a computer, unfortunately. So I would definitely make sure you round to the nearest whole number. So make that note. That means no decimals. Okay? So if you were to substitute this in on your calculator, I'm going to clear all this. 100 times, oh no, 100 times e to the, here's where I would use parentheses, 4.6025. Oh, did I key that in wrong? Oh, drats. 0.46052, my b, times 2. Close parentheses, enter. That is not the question answer I got when I did my answer key, but I massively did my answer key wrong. So, let's double check our numbers. 4.6052. Looks like I did that.
Hill, please report to
Oh,
the main
look, they need
office.
Tori Hill in the main
Tori
office right now.
Hill, please report to the main office.
All right, so round this to look at the 0.6. This is going to go up to 60. So I will split my screen for you, hopefully. Is that going to work? Ah! There we go. And we are going to key in, oh druts, minor technical difficulties. All right, so that is going to be this number of computers, so there's 4 zeros. And put your, so, oh wow, that's like about 1 million computers would be infected. Always good to put a label. So what I will be checking for you when you turn this paper in is, did they calculate each of these correctly? So over with the 1 hour, you would just have to make sure that you key in 100 E 4.6052 times 1. And then just make sure you click the calculator buttons correctly, because I obviously cannot. So number 2 is just like number 1. They give you a formula, and you're going to be substituting in for P.
Ms. Pace, if you're in the building, please call Ms. Walter at 9405. Ms. Pace, if you're in the building, please call Ms. Walter at 9405.
Okay, so here is your equation. Please pay attention to that negative there. And P is populations in millions, so in people. And T represents the number of years after 1990. So if you're finding the population in year 2000, what is T? Well, gee, 2000 is 10 years after 1990. That means 10 years. Miss Bailey was a 10-year-old tot in 2000. But then in 2020, this is where Miss Bailey started to really thrive. I was 20 years old, so your T would be 20 there. So you can use your T's to calculate the population of Russia. All right, here's where we really use E in the PERT formula. It's one of my favorite formulas of all time. It is very much popular with investments when you are compounding continuously. So towards the end of the year, we'll talk about compound and simple interest. So here's your formula. We are going to keep it simple. We're just going to be solving for A each time. So you're going to have to define all your variables. Oh dear, that is not the right. You're going to define all your variables, substitute in, and do some good multiplication. So on George's birthday, his uncle deposits $1,000 into a trust fund that pays 6.5% interest, compounded continuously. So we want to know, how much will George have on his 16th birthday? So here are your variables. A is the money in the account. P is your original investment. It's often called the principal. R is your rate, which is the decimal, and T is your time in years. So in our first example with George, his original investment was $1,000 at 6.5%, but to convert that to a decimal, 1, 2 to the left. So it's really 0.065 and 16 years. So all you have to do is 1,000 times e to the 0.065 times 16 power.
DHMS, if you're in the building, please come see Ms. Walter. DHMS.
They need
if you're in the building,
DHMS
please come see Ms.
to see Ms.
Walter.
Walter right now. All right, so if you plug and chug through that, you should be getting $2,829, and since it's money, we should round to the nearest hundredth, and 22 cents. So when George turns 16, that is how much money should be in his account. So when he turns 21, we got to figure out how much money he'll have. I betcha he has more money in his account. So again, your principal is going to be 1,000. Your rate didn't change. And now your time is 21 years. So you would just plug and chug. Okay? So your goal is to finish 3B, so get an amount, and then try number 4 on your own. I believe that's the last one on here. So once you finish, you need to get your paper checked with me. It should all be 100% accurate, or you'll have to go back and do some more work. You're going to finish the worksheet and turn it in for some points, pick up the review worksheet, and then when we get ready for closure, you will hardcore do closure.